Coming back to football, the soccer or football business, Jürgen, is moving fast. You know it better than I do. How appealing is it for you to create something, let me say, lasting at Red Bull? For example, in mentoring coaches, young talents, or setting up structures?
If you wouldn't try to do that, it would be a waste of time anyway. So, and if you are Red Bull and with the image of Red Bull and stuff like this, I really think you have to do things in a specific way. I would say in all sports, it's exactly like that. It's Formula One, it's quick, wow, more dangerous, all these kind of things. When we saw the video of the commercial guys and marketing guys, and what we all did in 2024, it's weird the feeling you can get that football disturbs there. No, but it's not fair. It's not a fair thing, because of course they show only when it works out, when the salto works out, when the jump out. In football, you see everything, and you see the draw, and you see the defeat, and all this kind. So I know it's not like that, but honestly, it's not that I tell now here, especially not how we will play and have to play. But of course, we have to become recognizable again in all the games. I think that's clear. That's what we owe Mateschitz and stuff like this. That's what he wanted, and it's the right thing to do anyway. In no league, we are the favorite wherever our clubs are. We are always a challenger, so behave like a challenger, be brave, all these kind of things. Everything I did, everything what would describe my career I was never the favorite, barely the favorite, sometimes maybe, but not very often. But you could always see that my teams really tried it extremely hard, and they want us to do that. But we have time for that. It's not, you cannot change in football things overnight. I don't want to tell people what to do. I would like to be part and to convince them. If I'm 100% sure I'm right, if they tell me and I realize they are right, then I take that as well. I had a great team around me, and we will really give it a go and try to improve things and try to add proper value to our football clubs and to our sports in general. So if we can, and if they can get put value onto us, then I want to find it out, and I want to figure out how can Mr. Verstappen has the highest focus when he's 300 miles per hour in a 180-degree curve or stuff like that, and I have no clue how that works. So maybe he can explain it. I don't know, but if I would love to learn it. In other sports, we have exactly the same. They are at their best when it's most dangerous. So, come on, give me that information, and I try to translate it into football.
Okay, Oliver, what are your expectations of Jürgen here?
Well, I think Jürgen described already a lot. I mean, as he said, we are not, having the top teams in the league. So we have a clear approach when it comes to our soccer teams. We like to find and develop young, high talented players, and we have shown this in different teams and different clubs over the last years. Which means as well that at some point you're going to lose these players, and you have to start again. So we see that in Leipzig at the moment. Jürgen, you took a couple players from us in the past, which, we needed to replace and, to bring them as well to the next level. So the expectation is now, having somebody who is, of course, supporting the coaches. So who could be better to have an exchange with a coach, about difficult situations, about tactics and stuff like this, just to get not the advice, but just to get the opinion of Jürgen will be more than appreciated and will be helpful for every single coach we have, within our group. And then even if we think about, convincing players. So you have a high talented player, and we're not the only team who is looking for young, high talented players. So having Jürgen there to convince players is something which is important as well for us. But his spirit, his positive energy, will support the whole organization. So it's not only on the sporting side. Even the management team was enjoying, speaking to Jürgen, getting his impressions, and this will be something which, of course, give us another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5%, which is a lot, in professional sport, and Red Bull is not only soccer. So Jürgen just mentioned, Formula One and the other sports. So we have more than 800 individual athletes. So learn from these athletes. learn from the different entities, from our cycling team, from Formula One, from ice hockey. I mean, from the World Rally Championships. There are so many things, where, the soccer world can learn. And on the other side, where Jürgen can support as well the other entities. So, there are a lot of synergies which we see. Of course, there's a lot to do because we added a couple teams and we as you know engaged in Paris now since a couple weeks. So and of course every team has need. Every team wants support, and the global team together with Mario and of course a couple other guys is not there to run the daily business. So this is. It's a different role. It's not you take, the final decision, is taking the head coach or the CEO. But, learning from each other and having somebody who has an experience which nearly nobody has, from, winning the biggest title, having losses and big losses and coming back, even stronger. I mean, this is all experience which we like and which we need and which, as I said, will give us another 1, 2, 3% to become better in our different clubs.
You are known for your emotion, spirit and energy. Have you already thought about how you distribute this energy to different clubs, to coaches at Red Bull Football?
So this is mainly the public view on me. I understand that I was at more than 1,000 times on the touchline, on the sideline, and people could see me getting nuts in moments and sometimes calming down, not always, and sometimes not early enough, especially. But my job was always much more the strategic thing. So I had 3 clubs, and I was lucky enough to have great people working together in these clubs, and we could improve the clubs. We could Mainz 05, the club where I was as a player, and when I left it when I was a coach, and then left it to Dortmund. Was a completely different club. We turned each stone around. We tried to improve everything with the resources we had. And today it's a wonderful club. If you look at it, Dortmund, when I arrived, was a club with a big history, massive problems. We had to change. We built training grounds, stuff like this. So and when we left, it was a different animal again in European football. And Liverpool had its problems. So, and again, building a new training ground I was always involved in these kind of things. And now the only thing we cut off is the matches, pretty much. But I was always interested in infrastructure, in structure in general, in culture. And I know that the big part of the success we had in the past and the way we dealt with big defeats as well was the culture in the clubs. So you can improve that always, and for that you need sometimes an outside view, because when you do it, when you build it, when you get promoted and fight for promotion, you do so many things. You cannot do all the things in a perfect way. So I'm ready to go there, look at it, think, and don't change it for the change, but for the better if possible. I see myself as an advisor, and a good advisor is part of the decision, because then they take the advice, and I don't want to be there and just say, Mom, I would do it like that and go. So it's just why would you do it like that is then the interesting thing. And yes, I am the one with the most experience. I spent a week at Red Bull, and in every meeting, I was the oldest man in the room. So I have the most experience, obviously. So it's a pretty young team, which is nice, but annoying sometimes as well, but very nice. And so, yeah. We are ready to go. We are ready to improve ourselves, and doing that, improving the people around us as well.
Jürgen, what will Red Bull Football stand for in future?
Look, that's difficult. Now, I have my ideas. The problem is, if you tell the outside world the ideas, they ask you every day, where is it? Why can I see that? And it hinders actually development. So I hope one day, and hopefully it's not me in a press conference, but one of our coaches, you say, oh God, that's recognizable. Wow, that's a big change, improvement, development, whatever, these kind of things. I would prefer that than giving you now the opportunity out there to have a box, when we tick all the boxes. Oh yeah, that's okay, that's okay, that's okay. But, and it's anyway, look, when the basis of all the football development is for sure the time with Ralf Rangnick, super dominant person, and I know him well and I like him a lot, and he did an incredible job. But it was one club, then the second club. Now it's more clubs. Football developed since then. But they created a wonderful basis, and we have to use that basis still. And from there, we make the next steps. Football developed. We try to not only to hold the pace with that, we try to make the steps before others can do it. We will see if that's possible or not. If it works out, it's because we will be super busy. If it doesn't work out, we were anyway super busy. So because we really wanna give it a go.
How do you respond to those who question your decision?
I was at the weekend. Sorry, I was the weekend first time. I played there once in a friendly game, in Leipzig in the stadium, and I saw 47,000 supporters, probably around about 5,000 from Bremen. I would say probably 10%. They were great as well. So it means like 42,000 people in Leipzig. I was sat there and I asked myself, and I understand and know what everybody's saying about it when they see me there, my former clubs, all these kind of things. And I thought, do they not deserve good football? I really thought it's like, why would you say all the people in Leipzig, all the people in that region, all the people coming from wherever they come, all the people who are interested in Leipzig and want to see them win? I was around about 10 years now, not in Germany. Leipzig was not in the Bundesliga when I left Germany, I think. So I never had that really, the games against them in competitive games, Champions League, but they were in Hungary. And for me, it's a completely natural thing. I know how to start was all these kind of things, but I really felt they deserve it, and I think it's worth giving. Not only there, it's in Salzburg, it's in the football fans in New York deserve it if they want to be part of that journey. In Japan, in Brazil, they deserve support, improvement, all these kind of things. That's why I want to do it. I love football, and I know there are much more important things than football, but football can give you positive vibes, positive feeling, identification, all these kind of things for a city, for a region, for all these kind of things. And I love that fact. I cannot say differently. I really love it. And so what I said, when you meet all the people, how they burn for Red Bull, how much they love it, how long people are working here. People here that work 25, 30 years from the first day when Dietrich Mateschitz probably had a garage or whatever that is still here. So this identification, I like that. I really like that. And so I'm happy and proud to be part of it. And for me, it's like that. A doctor doesn't make a difference between the patients. You come from this city, I don't treat you. You come from this city, I don't treat you. A lawyer doesn't make the difference. In other parts, it makes it. If you want, I'm Dr. Football. I love helping wherever I can, where I am. I give my all. Now we do it for Red Bull, for all the German fans. It's not only Leipzig. There are a couple of other clubs as well. But I will try to help there as well. I
give the question to Oliver. Oliver, vice versa. How can other Red Bull sports maybe benefit from Jürgen's commitment to Red Bull football?
Well, I think a lot. I mean, and this is something which is missing in general when I look at our sport portfolio. So as you know, we're doing a lot, and we have more than 50 different sports entities. And do they really learn from each other? No. Are most of them best in the world? Yes. Do we have, as I said, more than 800 athletes? And do they really learn from each other? No. So looking at our portfolio and our engagement into all these different sports and different athletes, I think there's huge potential learning from each other. I can't tell you now specific things, but taking the time and Jürgen just mentioned, speaking to Max Verstappen, how he's, handling, the pressure and everything is something which, of course, could be value as well for other athletes, or if we stay in the soccer business, for our soccer players. So, but even on the technology side, if we take a look at Milton Keynes, where our, Formula One team is based, and if Jürgen will see that, which is even more interesting than to see a Formula One race, to seeing our campus and seeing, how many, more than 1,000 people really trying to, develop the best Formula One car in the world. And talking about details and how important details are, to find a transfer to soccer or even to other sports will be something, which as well at some point will be part of Jürgen's business. And again, everybody was or is still focusing on their daily business, and this has been missing. And of course we know the passion which Jürgen has, for other sports, which is great because we do not do only soccer. And learning here and be open and be transparent. And Jürgen said yesterday to me, I have nothing to hide. I did my coaching career. I'm an open book, so I tell you everything. And having somebody who is so open and who is really willing to share everything will be, of course, a benefit for all our different entities. What we need for Jürgen clearly is a paddle court and every different destination. So
a portable one.
The good thing which Max Eber left in Leipzig is a paddle court which we're going to build. So
it's outside, so we couldn't play yesterday. That's the problem. Yeah.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for this exciting conversation. Jürgen, please, you will stay on stage. And thanks for the moment, Oliver Minzlaff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Jürgen. It's
Hi.
Sam Wallace from The Telegraph in England.
I know.
Jürgen, just as a general point about football now in 2025, do we need, for clubs to win, to be part of a big brand like Red Bull or have a billionaire owner or a nation state or a multi-club group? Is this the only way now that football's going to be decided in the future?
Football in general, I don't know, but I don't think so because there are no billionaire owners in Germany. Obviously, it's not about that. It's in England. It's there are different models if you want, and the probably best team right now in Europe or maybe in the world with Liverpool is owned by an hedge fund. But they're interested in football as well, so it's an interesting thing. Number two is what is it with Chelsea? No, Arsenal or whatever. So it's a different thing. But money decides in football definitely. But there's still space for better decisions, better talents, clearer pathways, all these kind of things. Let's talk about England. It's like the way Brighton is doing it. For example, in Germany, we have these clubs as well. So football will always give you the chance to step in. But in the long term, probably the teams with the most money will win. That's clear. But in England, they have a lot of teams with similar money. So still an exciting tournament.
Next question, please. Gentleman in the second row.
Hi, Simon Urhofer, lowlands.at, Austria. You talked about paddle tennis a lot before. I want to talk, as we're here in Salzburg, about your favorite paddle opponent, Pep Lijnders. Why do you think it didn't work out for him in Salzburg, and how is he now? You're still in contact, I guess. How does he feel after his end in Salzburg? Thank you.
Yeah, how does he feel? This kind of thing. Yes, we're in contact, of course. And yes, he was at Liverpool my favorite paddle opponent. That's true. Probably still would be, but it's now the time where the things settle here for him slightly. That's clear. I was not involved in these kind of things. I started in January. I said that it all happened in December. People in charge have to make the decisions as long as they are in charge. That's how it is, and we expect that. We have to take responsibility. I was not close enough that I could tell you what went wrong. I still think he's an exceptional coach. I know he's an exceptional coach, but sometimes in football it's like that that the things don't click, don't fit, injuries. From outside, you could say qualifying for the Champions League was a fantastic day and part of the problem after that as well, because with the injuries, the team was not ready for it, these kind of things. But that's from an outside view. So, but nothing else to say about that. We can speak about Salzburg when I get to know the people there as well, but I didn't do yet because they're on a training camp. When they come back, I will go there as well, of course, talk, but it's only, how we said, it's to know what is Salzburg doing and stuff like this, I'm interested in, of course.
Constanze Weiss, Sky Sport Austria. You talked about the Red Bull philosophy and that one of the goals is that you want people to recognize Red Bull teams when they are playing. You also mentioned Ralf Rangnick, who kind of invented the philosophy. You call it the base. I think he built the base, and that you have your ideas, how you want to develop it, but you don't want to talk about it. But maybe you can talk about how much you want to carry on Ralph's legacy, or you think it's time to emancipate, kind of.
Yeah, both. But it's not, neither should sound like negative. It's time to, whatever, make the next step and stuff like this. I think it's, in all clubs, different, how I said, completely different, the clubs and different cultures. You have to see where you start, what you need. You get promoted, and in Japan, and I go there and tell him, change your football and try to get promoted again. It's not a gamble. You have the people there, they do what they do, and we look how we can help. And at one point, if we feel it's the right moment, then we can be influential in other departments, but it just makes no sense. Send them the Red Bull philosophy and let them try to play like that. So that it makes no sense. So if football would be that easy, that would be really cool. And it's the same for the other countries. You have to, so many things, which I learned already. You need to know how much they travel and time difference in America, stuff like this, on what kind of pitches they play and stuff. Then you have Brazil, where they play, what they play, how Brazilian football is in general, and all these kind of things. So we first have to learn in that moment. But for me, it was always a basis. Ralph brought it to Red Bull Cosmos because it's the right thing to do. If you are not the best, try to bring the others on your level and smash them. That's a very good idea. I built a pretty decent career on a similar thing, but I developed, of course, over the years with the quality of my players. That's just a normal thing, and we will see that there's not one way in football, but a couple of things will be 100% clear. Maybe I can give you one, because anyway we will draw that on the walls in the different academies. And I said that in Liverpool, I think as well. That didn't change, and maybe that's the one thing what made my career, the consistency to ask for this over 25 years. Counter pressing is not a proposal; it's a law. So it's a basis for absolutely everything. If you want to play dominant football, yes. 80% possession, yes. You lose the ball, win it back. So that's not... Yeah, I think we sent that out because I can counter-press better. Otherwise, I'm there. But in a good way.